Good afternoon, YouTube. WWE Review guys here. My name is Chris. This is Scott, and this is our Raw review for the final Raw of 2007. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, everybody!
I wanted to be the first to wish you Happy New Year.
Anyway, this is our final review for Raw on December 31st, 2007. So the first thing we're going to touch on is the Kennedy HBK match. This is a continuation of the feud that they had at Armageddon. I figured that they would end the feud at Armageddon. It's not a big surprise that the feud is continuing. It's an interesting feud. It's nice to see Kennedy in a feud with a high-profile main eventer like Shawn Michaels. And it was nice to see Kennedy get a win over Shawn Michaels. I like Kennedy. Kennedy's a good guy. And he needs a push that works for him, because it seems like every time he's given a push, either he screws up or he injures somebody, something happens, and he always gets pushed back down. So hopefully this is a way for him to get that step back in the right direction. So yeah, that was an interesting match.
I think now you were talking about thinking the feud within there. I kind of think it's natural that they would continue, because I think they're both wrestlers that they're both really good and really likable and really strong, but that I kind of have a feeling they don't quite know what to do with them.
Yeah, but the problem that I'm having with this feud is, again, and I know I've touched on this a lot in the past, I'm kind of surprised that Lashley is not back yet. I had heard things about him coming back at Armageddon, if not at Armageddon, soon after.
Was he in the Royal Rumble commercial with in the subway?
I can't remember if he was or not.
I don't think he was.
He may have been. So it may be the Rumble before we see him. So yeah, that was that. The next thing we're going to touch on is the return of JBL, if you will. That was pretty lame. It was kind of stupid. Him just basically standing there and periodically throwing an arm up.
Bizarre is the word that I had. There was just something weird about, and he wasn't even.
It was boring.
He wasn't even putting his arm up with power. It was just kind of like,
oh,
fireworks. So that was weird. And then when they showed him, and then Jericho comes out, they just pound on each other, and then they show him backstage screaming at the staff. It's kind of funny, but it didn't really bowl me over.
Again, I've said this plenty of times in the past. I'll say it again. I hate JBL. JBL's boring.
Oh.
And the whole skit was just boring. I mean, there's no sense in this guy just standing there, not talking, shooting fireworks off every now and then isn't exciting. You need a little bit of substance with it.
And a part of the problem with the whole I can buy and sell you being Mr. Powerful and all, they already have a
Mr. before, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Well, and right now they've got Mr. McMahon, the super powerful guy. So why do they need another character that's like that?
You really don't, especially on Raw. SmackDown I can see, but not Raw. The next thing we're going to touch on is the Hornswoggle match. This was Hornswoggle versus Mr. Regal. Not much to say about this. I'm really wondering exactly why this feud is still, this whole Hornswoggle line is still going. I figured it would have ended by now. It's not bad. I mean, it's some comic relief, which they do need in the show from time to time. But again, it's odd. It's not going anywhere. It's the same thing every week. We're like, okay, Hornswoggle's going to come out. He's going to find some way to win the match. So it's almost like, what's the point?
I was watching it wondering if maybe this was going to lead into a Hornswoggle Mr. McMahon feud that was, they'd face each other and that would end the storyline. But then, of course, there's the whole thing about Regal and the brass knuckles, and then Regal comes out later in the show, which we'll talk about in a minute.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
But I just don't know where they're going with the whole Hornswoggle thing. I thought this was going to be a big step toward the end of that, but it doesn't look like it. It just threw me off.
It's just an odd, it's an odd storyline. It was odd when it started. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't ended it yet. So, not much else to say about that. The next thing we're going to talk about is Hardy and Orton. This was very interesting. Big ups to Jeff Hardy. They started off the show with Orton standing in the ring, and then he's praising himself, saying he's basically like a god of sorts. Praise me. And then Hardy comes out.
He didn't quite go that far.
Well,
he wanted
to.
No, maybe.
Not for him, it wasn't. And then Hardy comes out, and they stand there, they scuffle. Orton tries to do an RKO on Hardy. Hardy reverses it, gives him a twist of fate.
Which I thought was the RKO.
Which he thought was the RKO.
Because I don't know the difference.
So he couldn't distinguish
the
moves.
They look just alike to me.
But that was cool. And then the match where Hardy's in a match with Santino Marella.
Which, by the way, I thought your heart would be broken if those two wrestlers went face to face head to head.
I love Santino.
You love them both so much. I thought, but luckily it didn't. We never saw the end of that match because. Oh, okay. I'll do it.
You go ahead.
This to me was one of the most ridiculous moments I've ever seen watching the W, because I didn't know if it was supposed to be funny or if it was just badly done. But then Jeff's about to do his swanton, and then all of a sudden you hear Orton, "Hey Jeff, I know you want to do that swanton. I've got your brother right here." And so he's got Matt with his shirt hanging off, and Matt's hair is all frizzy like it is when he's been fighting. And and Orton says, "I just kicked your brother where his appendix used to be." And then he says something to the effect of, "And that's not all that I'm gonna kick him." And so then he kicks him in the head. And then Jeff goes running backstage. And then there's a moment of silence. Nobody knows what's happening.
I'm a brother, man!
And then they're down there. Well, first the stagehands approach the fallen body of Matt, and they're like, Matt,
are you okay,
yeah,
Matt?
can you hear
Yeah, some of
me?"
these people, really, honestly, some of these people need acting skills. And as much as I love Jeff Hardy, and I love him a lot, he needs a few acting chops.
Oh, well.
He was just running back like,
Poor
"My brother, man! Somebody help him! Anybody!" You work on your acting a little bit.
So that moment was just really bizarre to me. And then they cut back later to Jerry and Jim, and they're talking as if we should be, have a moment of silence for Matt Hardy. And I'm thinking, what? Are we taking this a little too far?
It was a weird moment. It was kind of nice in a way to see Randy Orton going back to what he's good at, which is basically beating up defenseless people.
Yeah.
So that's where
back into his
Orton
little comfort
found.
zone.
Yeah, that's where he founded his. That's how he became what he is now. The whole kicking him where his appendix used to be thing. That was just like the dumbest line I think I've heard in a long time.
But the writers are on strike.
Yeah, there you go.
So Orton had to come up with it himself. He might not be the brightest guy. I'm just saying, Mr. Orton. I'm sorry.
So there you go. That was a bizarre moment.
What was the last thing?
The last thing we're going to talk about is the Ric Flair Triple H match.
Yes. Oh, how could I forget? I was looking forward to this ever since last week or whenever McMahon did his you versus you.
Very good imitation.
Thank you. I've been working on it. But I thought that would be a good match. And then was it last Friday or the last SmackDown? Flair was there to talk about if I lose, I will lose to the best. So this was I think they built this up, and I think it was good. A thought that I had, this is the second match in a row where Triple H has gone against another, favorite, really strong wrestler, Hardy, Flair. So do you think this is maybe the heel turn? Impetus.
I don't know. I figured he would have already taken the turn. I'm starting to wonder now if it's still going to happen. Let me go ahead and start off by saying that my Royal Rumble predictions are completely screwed up right now. I have no idea who's going to win the Royal Rumble.
I had one thing I wanted to say.
Go.
Rumble related. So Hacksaw Jim versus Umanga for the spot of the Royal Rumble.
Pretty obvious who's going to win that.
Yeah, but I love poor little Hacksaw Jim. He's such a weirdo, but I love the guy.
Yeah. But back to the topic at hand, because we're running out of time here.
Royal Rumble.
Supposedly Triple H is not going to be in the Rumble now. So I don't know who's going to win. I had predicted that it would come down to Triple H and Batista. I don't know what's going to happen now. So, it was just weird. Triple H might still find some way into the Royal Rumble. He might find some way into the main event against Randy Orton. I don't know what's going to happen now. The way that match ended with Regal coming out and getting a DQ for Ric Flair was just odd. It's probably going to set up some sort of rivalry between Vince McMahon and Triple H, which would be interesting.
It's kind of what's been going on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't know exactly what's going on there. So Scott, anything else to add or?
Nothing really. I'm just wondering if maybe Regal was trying to get back on McMahon's good side. We might see. Hopefully, we'll see more of that story. Figure out what that was all about because I was confused myself.
Yeah.
And
it was an odd ending to the match. It was a great match, and just the way it ended was a little disappointing.
And I was impressed with Flair. I've talked about Flair before, and I thought he really handled himself very well last night.
All right. So there you have it, folks. That is our Raw review for December 31st, 2007. If you haven't checked it out yet, check out our end of the year Wrestlies. That was his name again. He came up with that. Check that out. That's very interesting. Post some comments. Let us know what you think. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.